number of scientific copyrighted works that obtain IPR were also produced from student final project activities. Community service activities are carried out through internal, external, and independent financing systems. The academic community of the nursing study program is also quick to send volunteers to disaster conditions that occur in various parts of Indonesia. Research and community service activities are carried out in accordance with the roadmap of research and community service to realize the vision of the study program. In improving students' ability to face dimensional conditions, a Batavian student study group was formed which has activities in improving soft skills and hard skills related to dimensional health which were widely followed by nursing students. Through academic and non-academic activities offered by the Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta Nursing Study Program, various achievements have been scored by Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta nursing students both nationally and internationally. In ensuring the quality of the nursing study program, the Quality Control Group team and LP3M carry out scheduled monitoring and evaluation for achievements every semester. The Quality Control Group or GKM helps maintain quality in the nursing study program. GKM is formed on an ad hoc basis through the decision of the rector. The task of GKM is to form a study program in the smooth running of semester academic activities and monitor and evaluate the learning of the nursing study program. GKM also consults and coordinates with the Faculty Quality Assurance Team and LP3M.
Salam bela negara.
Good morning. Good morning to Nurse Fiora and Nurse Mareta. Thank you for have joined this international webinar. Hope you enjoy this event.
Good morning to the participants of International Webinar Ranalhecom 2022 who have joined us in the Zoom meeting room. I would like to remind everyone who have joined that you can fill in the registration link and the pretest link which displayed on the screen, or you can just click the link on the Zoom chat.
All participants are also advised to turn on their cameras during this event, and please use the virtual background that has been provided. Also, don't forget to rename your display name with institute_name. For example, UPNVJ_Fionita Apriliana. Thank you.
sky. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. Eyes open wide and the world is before us. We are the sound of a beautiful chorus, holding to the feeling, you and I. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. We have everything we need and we know we were made for this adventure and we were made to go. We'll light up. We'll light up. Aiming for the stars against the sky. When we are together, we are bright. We are the revelry, we are the dreamers. We dance through the night in our bones, we can feel it. Aiming for the stars against the sky. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. Eyes open wide and the world is before us. We are the sound of a beautiful chorus, holding to the feeling, you and I. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. We have everything we need and we know we were made for this adventure and we were made to go. We'll light up. We'll light up. Aiming for the stars against the sky. When we are together, we are bright. We're aiming for the stars against the sky. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. Eyes open wide and the world is before us. We are the sound of a beautiful chorus, holding to the feeling, you and I. When we are together, we are bright. We'll light up. We've been waiting for this moment to come. We were made for this adventure. We feel it in our blood. We'll light up. We have everything we need and we know we were made for this adventure and we were made to go.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Nurse Wiwin Winarti, selaku Ketua Jurusan Keperawatan UPN Veteran Jakarta. Ranalhecom 2022 diselenggarakan dalam rangkaian acara Disnatalis S1 Keperawatan UPN Veteran Jakarta. Ranalhecom diselenggarakan sebagai ajang kreativitas prestasi mahasiswa tingkat nasional dalam bidang keperawatan dan kesehatan. Selain itu, Ranalhecom juga diselenggarakan sebagai salah satu bakti daripada Sivitas Akademika S1 Keperawatan UPN Veteran Jakarta kepada masyarakat dalam rangka menurunkan angka kesakitan dan kematian akibat hipertensi. Untuk itu, kami perwakilan dosen keperawatan mengucapkan selamat dan sukses untuk Ranalhecom 2022.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, saya Fiora Hadisvita selaku Kepala Program Studi Keperawatan Program Sarjana. Untuk menyambut Ranalhecom 2022 ini, persiapan yang sudah dilakukan oleh panitia cukup baik, dan juga dengan Ranalhecom 2022 ini dapat menjadikan mahasiswa menjadi lebih aktif, kreatif, inovatif, dan juga dapat menambah soft skill dan hard skill mahasiswa. Dan juga nanti mahasiswa memperoleh pengetahuan lewat webinar-webinar yang akan disampaikan oleh pemateri-pemateri yang kompeten. Selamat dan sukses untuk Ranalhecom 2022.
Saya Laksita, Kaprodi D3 Keperawatan sebagai perwakilan dari dosen keperawatan UPN Veteran Jakarta mengucapkan selamat dan sukses untuk Ranalhecom 2022.
Kami, perwakilan dari dosen keperawatan UPN Veteran Jakarta, mengucapkan selamat dan sukses untuk Ranalhecom 2022.
Kami, perwakilan dosen keperawatan Fikas UPN Veteran Jakarta, mengucapkan selamat dan sukses untuk Ranalhecom 2022.
Salam sehat, salam bela negara.
Salam bela negara.
Salam bela negara.
Sukses selalu ya anak-anak, Ibu bangga kepada kalian.
Good morning to Nurse Santi Herlina. Thank you for joining us in this event. I hope you enjoy this event until the end.
Okay, thank you.
Before we start the event, let's pray for today's webinar to run smoothly. Prayers are according to each other's belief.
Prayer begins. Prayer finished. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Best wishes to all of us. Shalom.
Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, dan
Salam bela negara. Welcome to Ranalhecom 2022 International Webinar with the theme
Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension, and the Treat of Complications. First of all, we would like to introduce ourselves. I, Zenita Aksobiana,
and I, Nur Alsida,
as today's international webinar Master of Ceremony, along with the moderator, we will guide today's webinar until the closing of the event. For the first event, we would like to welcome our honorable guest.
the Dean of Faculty of Health Science, Mr. Professor Dr. Gigi Wahyu Sulistiadi Mars,
Vice Dean of Academic Sector, Mr. Taufik Mariusman, SGZ MPDM Gizi,
Vice Dean of Financial Sector, Mr. Sugianto SEMM,
Vice Dean of Student Affairs and Cooperation Sector, Nurse Santi Herlina, SKEP, MKEP, SPKEP, MB,
The Head of Nursing Department, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, Eskep MEPIT MN.
The Head of Nursing Undergraduate Program, Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, MCAP SPCAP MB.
Also, Nurse Santi Herlina, MCAP SPCAP MB, and Professor Dr. Jom Suwano as the presenter of today's webinar.
Ms. Kiana Alif Fatwa Supendi SCAP as the moderator.
The Head of Student Association Nursing Major, Ms. Nirmala.
And the Chief Executive of Ranalhecom 2022, Ms. Diana Puspasari.
As well as all of the committee and guests who we respect, we would like to welcome everyone to Ranalhecom 2022 International Webinar with the theme
Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension and the Treat of Complications.
Yep. Before moving on to the next agenda, I would like to read the existing rules for participating in today's event. Therefore, the regulations are: first, the National Nursing Webinar will be held on the day Sunday, 16th October 2022 at 8 until 12 a.m. through the Zoom meeting application and email as a means to provide information related to the event. Participants are required to fill out the attendance list on the presence link that is available 15 minutes before the event start, which at 7:45 until 8. Participants are required to present 15 minutes before the event start at 7:45. Participants are required to follow the event from the beginning to the end of the event with enthusiasm. During the activity, participants are prohibited from turning on the microphone so that the activity can run in a conducive manner, except when asking and responding after obtaining permission from the MC or moderator. During the event, participants are required to activate the camera.
7. For participants who want to ask questions, they must fill out the link questions that have been provided by the committee. Then, the moderator will choose and invite the questionnaires to ask questions. 8. Participants who will ask or respond must introduce themselves first. 9. Participants are prohibited make noise in any form during the event, spreading absent content on the Zoom meeting screen, saying rude and behaving badly. 10. During the photo session, all participants must turn on the camera and not leave the forum first. 11. After the discussion is complete, participants must fill out the criticism and suggestion form on the G-form link that will be provided by the committee.
The rundown for today's event: the first, pre-registration for Ranalhecom International webinar participants, and the participants do the pre-test, opening by MC and Code of Conduct's reading, singing Indonesia Raya, Mars Bela Negara, Mars UPN Veteran Jakarta, and Mars PPNI song.
Taking picture with Salam Bela Negara's pose, Chief Executive Report from Ms. Diana Puspasari, speech by the Chairperson of HMPSIK 2022-2023, Ms. Nirmala, and the speech by the Head of Nursing Undergraduate Program, Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, MCAP SPCAP MB.
Speech by the Head of Nursing Department, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, MEPIT MN. Speech by the Dean of Faculty of Health Science, as well as opening of the event, Dr. Gigi Wahyu Sulistiadi Mars. Reading of CV moderator and opening by moderator.
First speaker CV's reading and the first material, then the second speaker CV's reading and the second material.
Question and answer session, ice breaking, reading the CV of third speaker and the third material,
question and answer session, closing of the webinar, preparation for the closing ceremony, and opening session, followed by the participants' impression and message of the competition.
competitions announcement, and video presentation and closing of Ranalhecom 2022.
Thereby, the following rules for today's event, and to all participants are required to obey the rules. Thank you.
Next, we will be listening to the National Anthem Indonesia Raya, Mars Bela Negara, Mars UPN Veteran Jakarta, and Mars PPNI.
To all participants, please sit in an upright position and please listen respectfully.
menjunjung tinggi sumpah mulia aku setia pada negara. Semangat tetap menyala, berjuang gigih demi cipta, menaikkan bakti negara, merindu dan bangsa. Persatuan Perawat Nasional Indonesia, wujud ikatan profesi perawatan, tempat membina dan mengembangkan kemampuan diri dalam membuktikan keberadaannya. Menapaklah dengan keyakinan lebih pasti, sejajar dalam abdikan diri, bangkit berdiri dan langkahkan kakimu itu, menatap hari esok penuh asa. Wahai perawat Indonesia, bangkitlah dan majulah untuk menolong sekalian yang menderita. Kuatkanlah pribadimu, tingkatkan pengetahuan untuk memberikan asuhan keperawatan. Kita melangkah untuk mengisi pembangunan bangsa negara Indonesia, untuk mengantarkan bangsa menuju sehat semua dengan semangat jiwa Pancasila. Maju perawat, majulah dalam kancah pembangunan, tunjukkanlah pada sekalian orang. Jadilah perawat model kesehatan bangsa kita, jadilah teladan dalam hidup sehat. Bangkitlah perawat seluruh Indonesia dalam mengemban citra profesi, menjunjung tinggi kode etik keperawatan, laksanakan panggilan tugas mulia, mencapai derajat kesehatan seoptimal mungkin bagi warga negara Indonesia. Sebagai bukti kiprahnya mahkota putih suci dalam mendukung pembangunan kesehatan. Dengan organisasi PPNI yang kokoh, padu bersatu, serta selaras, perawat Indonesia akan mampu angkat citranya di mata insan dunia.
Okay, for the next event, we will do a photo session. To all participants, please turn on your cameras and do the Salam Bela Negara pose with your right hand on the left chest. Then, in the count of 3, the operator will take a screenshot. And because there are several slides, please maintain your position until the end of the documentation. Let me count for first slide. 1, 2, 3. Second slide. 1, 2, 3. Third slide. 1, 2, 3. Fourth slide. 1, 2, 3. Fifth slide. 1, 2, 3. Sixth slide. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, photo session has ended. Thank you everyone, and thank you to the fellow operators. Reminders to all the participants of Ranalhecom 2022 International Webinar to take screenshot during this event, which will be submitted on the evaluation link at the end of the event.
Moving on, next, we will listen to the greetings from.
First speech is from Diana Puspasari, as the Chief Executive of Ranalhecom 2022. To Ms. Diana Puspasari, you are welcome to start your speech.
Okay, thank you MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Best wishes to all of us. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Bela Negara. Good morning to our attendees and speakers. It is such an honor for me to give a welcome speech. I am Diana Puspasari as the Chief Executive of Ranalhecom 2022 and the whole committee. We would like to welcome you to the International webinar of Ranalhecom 2022 with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension, and the Treatment of Complications. I want to thank our speakers for taking the time to share their knowledge, and also the Head of Nursing Department, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, SCOP MEPIT MN, the Head of Nursing Undergraduate Program, Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, MCAP SPCAP MB, who has helped during the work process for this event, and also all the committees who have organized this wonderful event. Ranalhecom is our annual event organized by Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Jakarta Nursing Undergraduate Student Association. This event consists of national competitions and international webinar. I hope that this event can give much benefits to all participants and their active role in dealing with health issues that we currently face. And I hope that the audience will listen all the material that will be delivered by our great speakers. And I and the committee in charge, thanking all of you for your participation, and also if there are any mistake during the event, we ask you to open the door for our sincere apologies. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much to Ms. Diana for such a great speech.
Next, for the second speech, will be delivered by Nirmala as the Head of Student Association Nursing Major. To Ms. Nirmala, you can start your speech.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, all honorable guests, first and foremost. Best wish to all of us. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Bela Negara. Welcome to Ranalhecom 2020 International Webinar with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension, and the Treatment of Complications. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, all honorable guests, speakers, and committee. Best wish to all of us. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Bela Negara. Welcome to Ranalhecom 2020 International Webinar with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension, and the Treatment of Complications. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nirmala, a steering committee or the head of Student Association Nursing Major. First of all, let us express our gratitude towards the Almighty who is blessing or always with us, so that we all can be here in good condition and health. It is such an honor for me to give a welcome speech to Ranalhecom 2020 International Webinar. We would like to welcome our honorable guest, the Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, Mr. Professor Dr. Lili Wahyu Dimas, Vice Dean of Academic Sector, Mr. Taufik Mariusman, SGG, MPD, MGZ, Vice Dean of Financial Sector, Mr. Sugianto, SMMM, Vice Dean of Student Affairs and Cooperation Sector, Nurse Santi Herlina, SCAP, MCAP, SPCAP, MB, the Head of Nursing Department, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, SCAP, MEPIT, MN, the Head of Nursing Undergraduate Program, Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, MCAP, SPCAP, MB, the Lecturer of Nursing Undergraduate Program. Also, our speakers of today's webinar is Nurse Santi Herlina, MCAP, SPCAP, MB, and Professor Dr. Suwano. Ms. Kiana Alif Fatwa, Supendi, SCAP, as the moderator,
the Chief Executive of Ranalhecom 2020, Ms. Diana Puspasari, as well as all of the committee and guests who we respect. We would like to welcome everyone to the Ranalhecom 2020 International Webinar. I want to thank our speakers for taking the time to share their knowledge and giving real-life examples. Our topic is measurement of blood pressure, managing hypertension, and the treat of the complication. I also wish to thank the head of nursing department, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, SCAP MEPIT MN, and the head of nursing undergraduate program, Nurse Fiora Larismita, MCAP SPCAP MB, who has helped during the work process for the continuity of this international webinar, and all the committees who have organized this wonderful event. I am especially excited to welcome the participants who take part in international webinar. Why is hypertension a topic that we raise in this webinar? Because according to the World Health Organization, currently the prevalence of hypertension globally is 22% of the total world population. Therefore, hypertension is still an urgency in this world, and there needs to be promotive, curative, and rehabilitative efforts that need to be prepared, especially for health students, health workers, and the community. Welcome to listen to the material from our excellent speakers. Please ask according to the rules imposed by the committee. I, as the steering committee or the head of Student Association Nursing Major, from the deepest of my heart, I do apologize if there were mistakes. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam bela negara.
Thank you so much, Nirmala, for the great speech.
Next, the speech will be delivered by Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, MCAP SPCAP MB, as the head of undergraduate nursing program. To Nurse Fiora Ladesvita, you may start the speech.
Okay, thank you MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam bela negara. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Health Science, UPN Veteran Jakarta, the Honorable Vice of Dean, our Head of Nursing Department, Ms. Wiwin, and our speakers today, Nurse Santi Herlina MCAP SPCAP MB, and she also our third Vice of Dean, and Nurse Widya Ayu Mangade SCAP from I Germany, and Professor Dr. Jom Swano from School of Nursing Walailak University, Thailand. I want to say thank you for your willingness to be speaker in Ranalhecom 2022 seminar. And I also want to say thank you for all of Ranalhecom committee that had working hard for this event. Ranalhecom 2022 was organized by the active student from Student Association of Undergraduate Nursing Study Program. And this event held periodically every year. And today we held again with the topic measurement of blood pressure, managing hypertension, and the treat of complication. We saw things go well today, although I had received information from the committee at 7 o'clock this morning that our second speaker wasn't able to attend at this seminar due to a call from her hospital where her works, but hopefully we saw things go well today. And once again, I want to say thank you for our speaker's willingness, especially Dr. Jom from School of Nursing Walailak University. Okay, thank you. Good morning and salam bela negara.
Thank you so much, Nurse Fiora, for the great things.
Next speech will be delivered by Mrs. Nurse Wiwin Winarti, SCAP MEPIT MM, as the head of nursing department. To Mrs. Wiwin Winarti, you may start the speech, please.
Okay, thank you for the MC. Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu, salam bela negara. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, committee, for inviting me to this event and speaking a few words on behalf of the Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Pembangunan Nasional, Veteran Jakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice Deans, Head of Study Programs, Speaker, especially Nurse Santi Herlina and Professor Dr. Jom Suwano from Walailak University. And also, I would like to say thank you also to Nurse Widya Ayu Mangade, diaspora from Germany. Even though she couldn't attend this webinar today, we hope that in the next session or in the next future, we have opportunity to share our expertise and knowledge together from diaspora from Germany. First of all, allow me on behalf of the Dean Faculty of Health Science and Nursing Department to thank you and welcome all of you to this webinar with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension and the Treat of Complication. I would like also to thank you to the committee, moderator, lecturers, and all participants. It is indeed that hypertension is one of the most common degenerative disease suffered by the people of Indonesia and even in the world. Many people with hypertension make hypertension treatment management is a significant burden for the state of health budgets. For that, we need to learn from other countries about how hypertension management is carried out to reduce the incidence of hypertension in the next generation, and also to improve the quality of life of people with hypertension. By exchanging experience on how hypertension management is carried out in each respective countries, we hope that we nurses especially can take an active role in hypertension prevention program to reduce the incidence of hypertension in the future. This seminar is a part of the Ranalhecom event actually, which was held to commemorate the 19th anniversary of the UPN VJ Undergraduate Nursing Study Program. We hope that this seminar can be an exchange of information where we can learn together from the experience of hypertension management from our respective countries. Hopefully, all participants, again, will get the maximum benefit from this webinar. And on behalf of the Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, UPN VJ, allow me to officially open the webinar with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension, and the Treat of Complication. Thank you, committee. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Wiwin Winarti, for the greetings.
Next, we will be enjoying a special symbolization video for the opening of Ranalhecom 2022.
Ranalhecom is an annual event organized by the Nursing Student Association of the Faculty of Health Science. This year, Ranalhecom is held to commemorate the 19th anniversary of Undergraduate Nursing Program Universitas Internasional Veteran Jakarta.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are representative of nursing lecturers, Faculty of Health Science UPN Veteran Jakarta, and we take a role in the inauguration of 2022 Ranalhecom event. Hereby, I, Nurse Yolanda Spita, Staff Expert, Inspector MB,
And I, Nurse Wiwin Winarti, MM,
declare that Ranalhecom 2022 has officially opened.
Salam bela negara.
Okay, for the next event, we will be entering the material presentation session. Before we start, I would like to remind everyone to fill in the attendance link in the Zoom chat because the link will be closed before the first material presentation begins.
All right. Next, we will read the moderator CV, who will take over for today's discussion session. To the operator, please start the share screen. Our today's moderator is Miss Kiana Alifatwa Supendi Eskap. Her latest education was a professional degree in nursing 2022 until present, and her latest personal experience is a Nursing Student Association 2021 and the second generation of campus teaching program at 238 Public Junior High School in 2021 until 2022. She also has many skills and certification and achievement until the present day. You can call her or through her email and phone. Is Miss Kiana here yet?
Yes, MC. Hello. Thank you for having me in this amazing international webinar.
How do you feel for becoming the moderator for today's topic, Miss Kiana?
This is a valuable opportunity for me, and this is also my first experience being a moderator at international webinar. Hopefully, I have another experience or opportunity. It can be even better.
Glad to hear that, Miss Kiana. Now you can start as you please. Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much, MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Bela Negara, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the International Webinar Ranalhecom 2022. Measurement of blood pressure, managing hypertension, and the treat of complications. My name is Kiana Alifatwa, and I'm going to be the moderator of today. So, hypertension is one of important factors which could triggering non-communicable disease, such as heart disease, stroke, and others. Hypertension was defined as increase in systolic blood pressure greater than or equal to 140 millimeter of mercury, and increase in diastolic pressure greater than or equal to 90 millimeters of mercury. Based on World Health Organization's 2006, disease that causes by hypertension are one of the highest causes of death in the world. I believe that every country is struggling to cope with it. With this international webinar, University of Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta wants to give a positive contributions through this conference. And now, we have two speakers with us. We have Nurse Santi Herlina, Medical Surgery Nursing Specialist, and Professor Dr. James Wano. In the sections of presentations till the next 4 hours, for all the speakers, we'll talk around 40 minutes, and we'll have a discussions about 30 minutes. And all the audience can ask your questions during the sessions by fill the link that committee will share. And I'm going to read them for you later. All right, now can we go to our first speaker? Nurse Santi Herlina, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, now I'm going to read your profile. Okay, thank you. Nurse Santi Herlina. I was born in Jakarta, 27 February 1982. For education, as for the newest education is Specialist Nursing Surgery in University of Indonesia 2012 until 2013. It can be seen that Nurse Santi Herlina have a lot of experience and research from the years. You can contact her with her phone or her email. All right. Nurse Santi Herlina, you have 40 minutes to presentation your material is evidence-based on hypertension management.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. Please share material for me. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Head of the Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta, the Honorable Head of the Department of Nursing, the Honorable Head of the Nursing Study Program and Lectures, and do not forget that I respect the speakers, Mrs. Nurswidyayu and Professor Dr. Jom Swanno. The Honorable Chairman of the Student Association of the Undergraduate Nursing Study Program and his staff, the Honorable Chairman of the committee and the team, and what I am proud of is the participants of the International Nursing Webinar. Allow me to convey or discuss relate to evidence-based of hypertension management. Next slide. Okay, the outline of this material is related to the definition of hypertension, classification, prevalence, cause and risk factors of and evidence-based of hypertension management. Next slide. What is the definition of hypertension? We all probably already know. If we look at the meaning alone, hyper is high and blood pressure is blood pressure. So hypertension is blood pressure that has increased. What kind of upgrade? According to Walton et al. 2018, hypertension is a condition when systolic blood pressure is above 140 millimeter hydrogyum and diastolic blood pressure above 90 millimeter hydrogyum when measurements are taken within 5 minutes when the individual is at rest. Meanwhile, according to World Health Organization, hypertension is diagnosed if blood pressure readings are 140 per 90 millimeter hydrogyum or above on 2 different days. Okay, next slide. Okay, classification of hypertension based on the 7th report of the Joint National Committee or GNC7, categorized based on if the blood pressure is less than 120 per 80, it's said to be a normal. If the systolic blood pressure is between 120 until 139, and diastolic is between 80 until 89, it is said to be pre-hypertension. The systolic value is 140 until 159, and diastolic is 90 until 99, is said to be stage 1 hypertension. And the systolic value is 160 or above, and the systolic value of 100 or above is said to be stage 2 hypertension. Okay, next. Okay, the incidence of hypertension according to World Health Organization, there are 1.13 million people worldwide, and 1 in 4 men in the world and 1 in 5 women in the world suffer from hypertension in 2015. Next. The incidence of hypertension of the age 18 years or more in 2030 until 2018, according to the 2018 Basic Health Research in Indonesia, after measurements were made in 2030 was 25.8%, and 2018 it was 34.1%. This data shows that there has been an increase. Next. Okay, still according to the 2080 Basic Health Research, the incidence of hypertension in Indonesia based on province in Indonesia ranks the highest, namely the province of South Kalimantan or Kalimantan Selatan. Next. Yeah. The proportion of the treatment history and reason for the continuing hypertension treatment based on 2018 data in Indonesia, as shown in the blue pie chart, are people with hypertension. Of the hypertension patients, 32.3% didn't take medication regularly, and 33.3% didn't take medication. From these two data, the reason why people with hypertension are not routinely and do not take medication are 59.8% feel they are healthy, and 31.3% do not regularly go to health service facilities. 14.5% take traditional medicine, and 11.5% often forget. 80.1% cannot afford to buy routine medicine, and 40.5% cannot stand side effects. And 2% drugs are not available in healthcare facilities. Next slide. Okay, risk factor and etiology of hypertension. The first is the consumption of alcohol. Increased alcohol consumption in the long term will have an effect on increasing cortisol levels in the blood, so that the activity of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAAS, will increase. The hormone system that regulates the balance of blood pressure and fluids in the body. In addition, if a person consumes alcohol, the volume of red blood cell in his body will increase. This will increase blood viscosity, which can increase blood pressure. Then the second one, lack of physical activity. Physical activity can cause blood flow to increase, so that nitric oxide, or NO, can be produced. Yeah, nitric oxide will stimulate the formation of endothelial-derived relaxing factor, which functions to vasodilate or widen arteries. Physical activity that is active and regular will cause the vessel to tend to be more elastic, so that it will reduce peripheral resistance. So that in people who are less activity, blood vessels will be at risk vasoconstriction, which will make the heart muscle pump stronger every time it contracts. The harder the heart muscle works in pumping blood, the greater the pressure of the arterial wall. Risk factor or subsequent cause is obesity or overweight. In obesity, peripheral resistance is reduced, whereas sympathetic nerves are elevated with low plasma renin activity. The greater the body mass, the more blood is needed to supply oxygen and nourishment the body's tissues. Obesity is associated with an increase in intravascular volume and cardiac output. This means that the volume of blood circulating through the blood vessel increase, thereby placing greater pressure on the arterial walls. Being overweight also increase being overweight also increase the heart rate and insulin levels in the blood. Increased insulin causes the body to retain sodium and water. And then chronic kidney disease, CKD. Yeah, hypertension can cause chronic kidney disease with a nephrosclerotic mechanism, and chronic kidney disease can also cause hypertension. When the kidneys are damaged, the function of the kidney rolls to filter or remove excess substance is disrupted. When the body has excess salt in patients with chronic kidney disease, this excess cannot be removed, resulting in salt or sodium retention of water. Plasma volume will increase and will make blood pressure high. Next is risk factor and etiology is stress. Yeah, how stress can cause hypertension. When stressed, it releases the hormone epinephrine and adrenaline, which will stimulate the heart to pump stronger. This causes the pressures to be higher. Next, exercise salt consumption. Excess salt or sodium can retain water or H2O, so that plasma volume will increase, which will cause the heart to pump harder, resulting in hypertension. Yeah. And then supplement and certain drugs. Certain types of drugs can cause vasoconstriction of blood vessel, resulting in hypertension. And the likes risk factor and etiology is cigarette. Next slide. Okay, smoking causes cardiovascular disease. Yeah, good if we look at the flow. Yeah, cigarette substance such as nicotine can cause sympathetic activity, which has an impact on arrhythmogenesis. And the smoke produced is carbon monoxide that can bind oxygen, so that myocardial oxygen demand increase and oxygen supply to the myocardium decrease. We know that good blood flow is sufficient oxygen content and binds to hemoglobin instead of carbon monoxide. In addition, cigarettes can produce free radical, carbonyl, and harmful particles that can reduce nitric oxide and low-density lipid or LDL oxidation, which can lead to endothelial dysfunction and lipid abnormalities. Besides that, it can cause platelet aggregation, which will lead to thrombosis and cytokines that can cause inflammation. All of that will lead to arteriosclerosis, which will make the heart pump stronger, resulting in hypertension. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Management of hypertension based of the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia in 2018. This management is for people who are still healthy or have risk factor. There is an abbreviation to make it easier for people to remember, namely CERDIC. Yeah. What is CERDIC? Yeah. What is C? C is a cek kondisi kesehatan secara berkala, or is a periodic check of health condition. And A or E, enyahkan asap rokok, or get rid of cigarette smoke, and R or R, rajin aktivitas fisik, or diligent physical activity, and D or D, diet sehat dengan kalori seimbang, or healthy diet with balanced calorie, and I or E, istirahat yang cukup, get enough rest, and K or K, kendalikan stres or control stress. Next slide. Okay, the following management for people who already have hypertension, yeah, to make it easier for people to remember, the abbreviation is PATU. What is PATU? The first is P. P is periksa kesehatan secara rutin dan ikut anjuran dokter, or a routine health check and follow the doctor advice. And A or E, atasi penyakit dengan pengobatan yang tepat dan teratur. Ya, overcome the disease with proper and regular treatment. And T, tetap diet sehat dengan gizi seimbang, stay healthy with balanced nutrition. And U or U, upayakan beraktivitas fisik dengan aman. Try to do physical activity with the nap. And H or H, hindari rokok, alkohol, dan karsinogenik lainnya. Ya, avoid smoking alcohol and carcinogenic substance other. Yeah, next slide. Furthermore, the impact of lifestyle modification and reducing blood pressure according to JNC 7, Joint National Committee 7, there are several lifestyles that can be applied. Among them is body weight by maintaining a body mass index of 18.5 until 22.9. It can reduce blood pressure by 5 until 20 millimeter hydrogium per 10 kilogram weight loss. Then, a healthy diet with sufficient consumption of vegetables and fruits, avoiding fat can reduce blood pressure by 8 until 14 millimeter hydrogium. And limiting salt to less than 1 small teaspoon per day can reduce 2 until 80 millimeter hydrogium blood pressure. And physical activity with regular exercise, such as walking 30 until 45 minutes, equivalent to 3 kilometers per day with 5 times per week, and can lower blood pressure by 4 until 9 millimeter hydrogium. Next modification. Alcohol restriction for men with 2 units of drink per day and women with 1 unit of drink per day. 1 unit is equivalent to half a glass of beer with 5% alcohol and 100 cc of wine with 10% alcohol and 25 cc of 40% alcohol. However, it's better to stop drinking alcohol. Yeah. This can lower blood pressure 2 until 4 millimeter hydrogium. Next slide. Okay. Still according to the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Indonesia in 2018, hypertension sufferers who receive treatment according to standards if they are treated according to the following criteria. The category pre-hypertension with blood pressure of 120 until 139 in systolic and 80 until 89 in diastolic. And stage 1 hypertension with blood pressure of 140 until 159 systolic and 90 until 9099 diastolic blood pressure were treated with examination and monitoring of blood pressure, education, and lifestyle change if needed. For 1 month, if normal blood pressure is not achieved, drug therapy is given. For stage 2, For stage 2 hypertension with a systolic value of 160 or above and a diastole of 100 or above, the intervention provided are examination and monitoring of blood pressure, education, lifestyle change, and pharmacological management. Next slide. Okay, now evidence base of hypertension management based on several research results. The panel members appoint to the 8th Joint National Committee or GNC8 use a rigorous evidence-based method, developing evidence statement and recommendation for blood pressure treatment based on a systematic review of the literature to meet user needs, especially the needs of the primary care clinicians. This report is an executive summary of the evidence and is designed to provide clear recommendation for all clinicians. Next slide. Recommendation from the panel members appoint to the 8th Joint National Committee or GNC8. The following is a guideline algorithm for hypertension management. In adult patients over the age of 18 years, hypertension is managed with lifestyle intervention and continuous throughout management. Set blood pressure goals and start blood pressure lowering medication based on age, diabetes, and chronic kidney disease. In the general population, without diabetes and without chronic kidney disease, patients who are above or equal to 80 years of age have blood pressure targets of less than 150 per 90 millimeter hydrogium. While for those aged less than 60 years, the target blood pressure is less than 140 per 90 millimeter hydrogium. In hypertension patients of all age with diabetes present on CKD, the target blood pressure is less than 140 per 90 millimeter hydrogium, and in hypertension patients of all age who have chronic kidney disease with diabetes or no diabetes, the target blood pressure is less than 140 per 90 millimeter hydrogium. For the treatment given is divided into the two categories, which is in non-black patient and are started by giving thiazide type diuretic or ASA. What is ASA? Angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, or ARB, angiotensin receptor blocker, or CCB, calcium channel blocker, alone or in combination. In black, patient give thiazide type diuretics or CCBs will start either alone or in combination. In all rest, initiating SA or RB alone or in combination with other drug classes. Select drug treatment titration strategy. Yeah. The first, maximize first medication before adding second, or add second medication before reaching maximum dose of first medication, or start with two medication classes separately or as fixed dose combination. If the target blood pressure is achieved, then continue treatment and monitoring. If not, stringent adherence to medication and lifestyle. Next slide. Furthermore, the following are the 6 best proven non-pharmacological recommendations for the prevention and management of hypertension taken from Robert research on the 2021 and evidence-based update guideline-driven management of hypertension. The first recommendation is a healthy diet with the DAS diet intervention. DAS stands for Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension. This diet emphasizes a low-salt diet but still contains balanced nutrition. So that is not only able to prevent hypertension, but also reduce the risk of other disease such as heart disease, stroke, diabetes, osteoporosis, kidney stones, and cancer. Such as fruits, vegetables, whole grain, low-fat food products. This can reduce systolic blood pressure by 5 mm hydrogium in hypertension patient and 3 mm hydrogium in non-hypertension patients. Then losing weight. Losing weight. Losing weight by reducing calories and physical activity can reduce systolic blood pressure by 5 mm hydrogium. And then reduce salt intake. Next recommendation. Optimal salt intake is less than 1,500 milligrams salt per day. Can lower blood pressure by 5 mm hydrogium. Then increase potassium intake. Optimal potassium consumption is recommended 3,500 until 5,000 milligram per day can reduce 5 mm hydrogium. And physical activity in the form of aerobic, such brisk walking 5 to 7 times per week for 30 to 60 minutes per session, starting gradually with a warm up and ending with cool down. This exercise can lower blood pressure by 5 mm hydrogium. And physical activity in the form of dynamic resistant exercise, such as weightlifting at least 2 to 3 times per week and needs to be supervised by a professional trainer, can reduce systolic blood pressure by 4 mm hydrogium. And physical activity isometric resistant exercise, such as hand grip training regimens at least 3 to 4 times per week, can reduce systolic blood pressure by 4 mm hydrogium. Then the last is reducing alcohol consumption, lower blood pressure by 4 mm hydrogium. Next slide. In another article from Hao Chi et al.'s research on dietary intervention for the management of hypertension in Asia, the result of the review paper with the average research design being randomized controlled and the intervention given were DAS modification, salt restriction, education about nutrition, potassium supplement, with intervention duration of at least 1 week and maximum 2 years, can effectively reduce systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Okay, next slide. Okay, the following is Alexandra and Besam's research on evidence for exercise training in the management of hypertension in adults. From several meta-analysis articles, it can be seen that aerobic exercise such as brisk walking, jogging, running, dancing, and cycling and swimming can reduce blood pressure in hypertension patients. For example, in the Cornelissen and Smart study 2013, in 105 trials with 3,957 participants with a duration of 6 to 52 weeks and performed 30 to 60 minutes per session to 2 to 5 times per week, result in a reduction in systolic blood pressure of 3.2 millimeter hydrogium and diastolic 2.7 millimeter hydrogium. And next slide. Okay. We know that smoking is a global problem for almost all diseases. The World Health Organization reports that the death rate from smoking reaches 30%, or the equivalent of 17.3 million people. The death rate is estimated to continue to increase until 2030, as many as 30.3 million people. In Indonesia, cardiovascular disease reaches 80% and is the highest ranked deadly disease. There are two articles on smoking cessation or reduction that explain how to stop smoking addiction. In the research result of Karin et al. And Zhou Suang et al., the combination of varenicline and bupropion is effective for stopping smoking. What are varenicline and bupropion? They are kind of drugs to quiet smoking. Varenicline works in the brain by blocking the pleasant effects that the brain produces when smoking. And bupropion is known to work by reducing the severity of the effect of addiction, such as depression, bad feelings, irritability, difficult concentrating, and hunger when a person quits smoking. Okay, next slide. In addition, there are also ways to stop smoking from the two articles using cigarettes in the research of Konstantinos et al. In 2016. Cigarettes can reduce systolic blood pressure. It's only necessary to do further research because in Robert Saran's research published in 2021, it was found that the result of increasing biomarkers of cardiovascular disease in someone who smoked through vape or a cigarette, such as an increase in arterial stiffness index, oxidative stress, endothelial dysfunction, and platelet function. Okay, next slide. The following reference from this material. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Yes, that's why I can say, sorry if there is a shortage. Love you heart. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam bela negara.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All right, thank you, Nursanti Herlina, for the presentations. Nursanti Herlina previously explained about definitions, classifications, preference, and evidence base of management is hypertension. I really agree that hypertension is the most deadly disease for mortality rate, and the proportions is really huge number in percents. The reason why people have hypertension is they don't take the medical regularly and always do the same bad habits. For management is we have to cerdik and patuh. The content is management pharmacological, diets, and healthy lifestyle. Once again, thank you for Nurse Herlina for the material. We will come back to you after for questions and answers. Okay, Reminding for our audience, you can ask your questions during the sessions by fill the link that committee will share. Okay, before we go to the next speaker, looks like we need some ice breaking. And now I will return to Master of Ceremony.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Kiana, for being the moderator for the first presentation. Next, for the participants, in case you're all tired or sleepy already, we've prepared an ice-breaking session. So sit tight and wait for the ice-breaking session to begin.
When your heart beats, it pumps blood round your body. As the blood moves, it pushes against the sides of the blood vessels. The strength of this pushing is your blood pressure. As your heart pumps, the flow of blood in your arteries and your blood pressure rises and falls in a regular wave pattern. Blood pressure is shown as two numbers. The top number, or systolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart beats. The bottom number, or diastolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart relaxes. Healthy blood vessels can stretch to allow for these changes in pressure. Damaged blood vessels are less stretchy, which increases blood pressure. Constant high blood pressure puts extra strain on your heart and blood vessels. Over time, this increases your risk of a heart attack or stroke. It can also cause problems for your eyes and kidneys. High blood pressure speeds up the process of atherosclerosis, where fatty streaks form inside the arteries. If one of these cracks, it can cause a blood clot in your arteries. This is what causes a heart attack or stroke. It's never too late to make changes to protect your heart. Think about your future, being there for your family, your plans and dreams. Could your blood pressure affect this? There are small steps you can take today to lower your risk. If you smoke, stop smoking. Make heart-healthy eating and drinking choices. Move more. Lose weight. Talk to your doctor about medications.
Let me tell you a story about a girl living in worry, but she sometimes feels lonely. But you don't know what it's like to be hurt, to fall in love with somebody, but you think she's not pretty.
she gets this shit. She told the moon she don't wanna fall in love anymore. 'Cause if this heart breaks, who will fix it? One night she felt a very happy girl alive. They shared stories, they shared love. She wished she could freeze the time that night. Expectations high up in the sky. She knew something will bring her down. She is disappointed but not surprised. Let me tell you a story about a girl living in worry, but she sometimes feels lonely. But you don't know what it's like to be hurt, to fall in love with somebody, but you think she's not pretty enough. When she looks at that person, everything is blurry except him. She thinks he looks at her too. Oh, did he? One night she felt a very happy girl alive. They shared stories, they shared love. She wished she could freeze that time that night. Expectations high up in the sky. She knew something will bring her down. She is disappointed but not surprised. Her head's not empty, there's so much shit left inside. She's so dizzy. Is it possible? Are we? Her friends told her to stop, 'cause he already got someone to love. What can I do? How can I stop?
When your heart beats, it pumps blood round your body. As the blood moves, it pushes against the sides of the blood vessels. The strength of this pushing is your blood pressure. As your heart pumps, the flow of blood in your arteries and your blood pressure rises and falls in a regular wave pattern. Blood pressure is shown as two numbers. The top number, or systolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart beats. The bottom number, or diastolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart relaxes. Healthy blood vessels can stretch to allow for these changes in pressure. Damaged blood vessels are less stretchy, which increases blood pressure. Constant high blood pressure puts extra strain on your heart and blood vessels. Over time, this increases your risk of a heart attack or stroke. It can also cause problems for your eyes and kidneys. High blood pressure speeds up the process of atherosclerosis, where fatty streaks form inside the arteries. If one of these cracks, it can cause a blood clot in your arteries. This is what causes a heart attack or stroke. It's never too late to make changes to protect your heart. Think about your future, being there for your family, your plans and dreams. Could your blood pressure affect this? There are small steps you can take today to lower your risk. If you smoke, stop smoking. Make heart-healthy eating and drinking choices. Move more, lose weight. Talk to your doctor about medications.
Let me tell you a story about a girl living in worry, but she sometimes feels lonely. But you don't know what it's like to be hurt, to fall in love with somebody, but you think she's not pretty enough. When she looks at that person, everything is blurry except him. She thinks he looks at her too. Oh, did he? One night she felt a very happy girl alive. They shared stories, they shared love. She wished she could freeze that time that night. Expectations high up in the sky. She knew something will bring her down. She's disappointed, but not surprised. Her head's not empty, there's so much she left inside. She's so dizzy. Is it possible? Are we? Her friends told her to stop, 'cause he already got someone to love. What can I do? How can I stop? One night she felt a very
What a great video. First, we would like to say welcome to Dr. Jomswano. Sawadikap, Dokter. Next, for the second material, to the moderator, you may take over again.
Okay, thank you, MC, for the ice breaking. For me, that very facts that disease causes by hypertension are one of the highest causes of death in the world, because this high blood pressure is a silent killer. And there's only regrets after that if we don't maintaining the healthy lifestyle. Okay, last but not least, we have our second speaker, Professor Dr. Jomswano. Are you with us? Once again, Professor Dr. Jomswano, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here right now.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Glad to see you, Professor.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to read your profile. Thank you. Professor Dr. Jomswano is Associate Professor at Lilac University. The newest education is Doctor at Prince of Songkla, Philosophy of Nursing in 2007. It can be seen that there's a lot of research from Professor Dr. Jomswano. All right, Professor, you have 40 minutes to presentation your material. is health promotion for boosting self-management hypertension.
Thank you, Kiana, and good morning, everyone. And I'm very happy to be enjoy your conference here today. And I would like to share my experience with you now. Let me share a presentation slide, please. Thank you. And my talk today will hello, please go to the next slide, please. And my talk today will focus on 4 topics, at least, for physical activity, dietary approach, and medication and treatment adherence, and measurement and method for measurement health promotion for people with hypertension. So how can run the next slide? And I will go to the first topic, focus on physical activity, blood pressure, and heart health promotion. Please next. I think I could share my own screen here. Just stop for a moment. Can you find my slide? Hi, Kiana.
Yes, sir. For operator, can you next slide the slide?
Okay. I will show the full slide here. It's okay?
Excuse me, doctor, you have to slideshow. Press
Okay.
the slideshow. It's not yet full screen.
No. So it's better?
Not yet, doctor. You have to press the slideshow. So it shows the full screen. Slideshow under the PowerPoint.
This is all right?
I'm sorry, sir. I think you have to full screen your share screen.
Mm-hmm. It's okay? Just no.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Professor. I think it's too little to see here in my screen. You have to press the buttons on the bottom.
Yes, I do that. But it's not yet.
It's not yet, Professor.
Okay, you just go on and help me to the slide on your hand and just quickly. Sorry.
It's okay, Professor. I think you can go ahead.
Is that okay now?
Yes, I think it's error functional here.
Yes, okay. And you can see your own screen, okay? Okay. Okay. Here's my talk today. We focus on the 4 topics at least, and we go about the physical activity and blood pressure and heart health promotion. And according to World Health Organization, define physical activity as any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscle that require energy expenditure. And we know that physical activity refers to all movement activity. And physical activity refers to a movement including during leisure time, sport and exercise training, for transport to get to and from place or as part of a person's work. And on defined as physical activity, there are many forms of physical activity, and you can see here. And in terms of to heart health promotion and to reduce blood pressure, both moderate and vigorous intensity physical activity improve health. And there are several benefits of physical activity on heart health and blood pressure in terms of health promotion to promote general health and well-being. Physical activity has significant health benefits for heart, body, and mind, and to preventing and managing non-communication disease such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, and diabetes, to reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, to ensure healthy growth and development in young adults, and enhance thinking, learning, and judgment skill. And we know right now that physical activity can be prevent dementia and brain problem. And furthermore, it's improve overall health and well-being. And this is a recommendation for physical activity for adult age 18 to 64 years in terms of adult persons. Do at least over 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity a week. Do strengthen activity that work to all major muscle groups like legs, hip, back, abdomen, chest, shoulder, and arm for at least 2 days a week. It is recommended for straight and aerobic exercise also. And spread exercise equally over 4 to 5 days a week or every day. And reduce time spent sitting or lying down, or break up long periods of not moving with some activity. In terms of not sitting, more spend your not spend your time more on screen and touching like
Professor,
phone.
Professor John.
Hey, pardon?
Professor John, I'm sorry for interrupt. The slideshow, it's not playing.
Okay. Can you learn on your slide yourself?
Yes.
I don't know what happened here today.
Yes, just
Okay.
you will share your screen.
Okay. And here I focus on the recommendation of the elderly persons, and recommendation for physical activity is the same of adult persons, but it's the recommendation to add some more physical activity should be very multi-component physical activity that emphasize functional balance and strengthening to moderate and greater intensity on 3 or more days a week to enhance functional capacity and to prevent falls. And in term, when on elderly people who can strengthen their muscle, it is resulting of preventing fall and function limitation in the future. However, it is physical activity is one of not accomplished to more of the people. Globally, 1 in 4 adults do not meet the global recommended levels of physical activity in terms of moderate to high intensity exercise or physical movement. People who are insufficiently active have a 20 to 30% increased risk of death compared to people who are sufficiently active. And more than 80% of world adolescent population is insufficiently physical active. And here I show you the evidence from systematic review and meta-analysis. It is a term of to synthesize knowledge on physical activity and risk of hypertension. And this study includes 13 cohort study to examine the association of incident hypertension with recreational physical activity and occupational physical activity. In term, they compare whether the recreational physical activity and other term occupational related activity on hypertension incident. Let's just go next. Next, please. Next. Thank you. Next. Yes, thank you. And you can see that a total sample of study was over 1,100 people who were initially free from hypertension, and the follow-up duration length from 2 to 45 years. This is a long-term study, and the median duration of follow-up was about 10 years. Next slide, please. Okay, next. And the result, you can see that the association between high level of recreational physical activity and risk of hypertension compared to low level RPA is shown in this figure. The result of meta-analysis show that moderate level recreational physical activity decrease the risk of hypertension compared with low level recreational physical activity. Risk of hypertension was reduced by 10 to 36% in those who perform recreational physical activity. Next slide. And here, when they perform the association of occupational related physical activity, it means that the physical activity movement related to your work time, the results show that the association between moderate level OPA and risk of hypertension was not significantly. However, risk of hypertension was reduced by 2% to 35% to in the group of people who perform moderate to high activity related to their occupational time. Next. And another study focused on physical activity and stroke risk. And you know that hypertension is one of the risk factors of stroke and cardiovascular disease. And this meta-analysis conduct recruit 18 cohort study, and they examine whether physical activity reduce stroke incidence and mortality. And this meta-analysis had included both cohort study and case control study. And next. And this table shows the relative risk of stroke incident or mortality for moderately active individuals versus low active individuals. In cohort study, moderately active individuals had a 17% lower risk of stroke incident or mortality than did low active individuals. And for case control study, moderate active individual had 48% lower risk of stroke incident compared with low active individuals. And result of this study confirmed that moderate physical activity in any form can be prevent stroke and the risk of stroke in the future, including in stroke incident and death from stroke. Next, please. Okay, and the study confirmed, as I said, moderate active individuals also had 9% lower risk of incident of ischemic stroke and 15% lower risk of incident of hemorrhagic stroke than did low active individuals. And this confirmed that both of stroke type, including ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke, can be prevented by moderate exercise. Next, please. Okay, and I will show the other systematic review and meta-analysis to increasing physical activity for treatment of hypertension. And from this study, we can conclude that physical activity was associated with lower blood pressure. Both can be reduced systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. And one of the goals of hypertension treatment is to control blood pressure. And this study confirmed that results. So go on the other slide. Okay, next. I conclude that. Okay. Go. Okay, you can see that this study involved on patient age from young adult to older adult and women and men. So this can conclude that physical activity benefits on both age. I mean, it means that younger and older people and male and female benefit from physical activity. Okay, go other slide. Okay, go. And this slide, you can see that physical activity in moderate intensity associated with the reduce in systolic blood pressure and reduction on diastolic blood pressure for 7 to 15 millimeter mercury, and for the diastolic blood pressure was reduced by 1 to up to 9 millimeter mercury. Go to next, please. Okay, just show the other study. Just show that most of the study confirm the result of physical activity on the benefits on hypertension to reduce blood pressure and prevent stroke and to reduce mortality from on-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease death. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, go, please. Okay. Next slide, please. just run faster. Okay. Next, I would like to go to the artery and blood pressure and heart health promotion. Please show the next slide. And one of the campaign and the well-known study we know right now is the dietary approach to stop hypertension, or DASH. According to DASH, the recommendation dietary and food to prevent hypertension and to control hypertension. The dietary approach focus on low salt diet, low carbohydrate, low fatty diet, and increase high fiber and grain food. Next. Yeah, as you can see, the recommendation of DASH eating plan and including vegetable, fruit, grain, and meat, meal and dairy products, protein, and grain and other oil, fat, and dishes. And here is a recommendation of serving per day. For example, the recommendation to eat 4 to 5 serving of vegetarian daily. And here is the serving size, and this is an example of the vegetable. And all vegetable may make more benefits on heart health and to reduce blood pressure. And fruit, the recommendation for serving per day for any fruits, and the recommendation to eat a lot of fruit in terms of several types of fruit. And here eat grain, a recommendation for 4 to 7 serving per day, and this is may including bean and other type of type of the whole grains, for example. And here you can find more information about DASH diet and DASH eating plan in just key to DASH eating plan. Go to the next slide. And here is one of the well-known study, the effect of blood pressure on reduce dietary sodium and the dietary approach to stop hypertension diet. It is one of the well-known study was conducted during the last 2 decades. The study was a multi-center randomized trial comparing the effects of blood pressure of 3 levels of sodium intake into diet approach. Adult with pre-hypertension or blood pressure exceeds 120, 80 diastolic, and stage 1 hypertension or systolic blood pressure of 140 to 159, and or diastolic blood pressure of 19 to 95. And here is the target population of this study. And next slide. And here, the 3 group of participants we divide by classify according to the daily sodium intakes, including high sodium intakes of 150 millimole per day with an energy intake of 2,100 kilocalorie, and the intermediate sodium intake including of the 100 millimole per day, and low sodium intake group, those who consume less than 100 millimole per day of energy intake of 2,000 kilocalorie. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, yeah, if they compare the result of that diet, and according to that diet, emphasize fruits, vegetables, and low-fat dairy foods, include whole grain, protein, fish, and nuts, and contain smaller amount of red meat, sweet, and sugar-containing beverage than the typical diet in the United States. And the other group called the control diet, it refers to person who perform a regular meeting typically of what many people in the United States eat. Because this study conduct in the United States people, if you conduct this research, you can observe from a country by country and compare to that diet with regular diet that people intake. And the two diet group were compared. The primary outcome was systolic blood pressure at the end of each 30-day period of dietary intervention. And the secondary outcome was the dietary blood pressure. Next slide. And here you can see as the result, and you can guess that people who engage in the dietary approach to stop hypertension daily for at least a month can be reduced both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, and those who reduce sodium intake can be reduced the systolic and diastolic blood pressure significantly compared to those who eat regularly. Okay, go to the other slide. And here you can see the effect of sodium were greater in participants with hypertension than in those without hypertension. It means that when people with hypertension engaging in the dietary DASH program, they can reduce blood pressure more than those people who had pre-hypertension. And the result, this result also found in the effect of DASH diet on diastolic blood pressure also. And the combination of the two dietary intervention lower systolic blood pressure more in participants with hypertension than those without hypertension significantly. Go next slide, please. And here is, you can take home a message. Thirdly, the DASH diet lower blood pressure at high, intermediate, and low level of sodium intake. Whenever people intake sodium, they can reduce blood pressure by engaging in on DASH diet for at least a month. The benefits of following DASH diet have now been shown to apply throughout the range of sodium intake, including those recommended for the prevention of treatment and hypertension. Blood pressure can be lower in the consumer of either a diet that is typical or DASH diet by reducing the sodium intake from approximately 140 millimole per day to an intermediate level of approximately 100 millimole per day, and to reduce the sodium intake by approximately 40 millimole per day cause a greater decrease in blood pressure. Next slide, please. And here you can see the pyramidal term of food pyramidal, and you can find where is the diet as recommended. The combination effect of blood pressure of low sodium intake and the DASH diet were greater than the effect of either intervention alone and were substantial. Okay, next slide. And let me show you the other health promotion, and it is a problematic worldwide according to the medication treatment adherent and non-adherent in medication treatment in persons with hypertension. Next slide. Thank you. And medication adherence can be defined as the process by which patients take their medication as prescribed and is a dynamic process that changes over time. And medication adherence here you can see including of three components which need to be considered separately. And when you find your people with hypertension, you have to ask them whether they take medication in 3 periods. First time is initiation or fail to begin treatment. And the other is implementation of incomplete dosing. And the next is persistent or continuing of treatment. And next slide. And here you can find the process of medication adherence. Non-adherent is consequent and method monitoring. And here, a problem we find at the first step of initiation, patient does not initiate treatment, and the consequence is that don't work in patient who do not initiate them. And you can see that how to monitor and increasing medication adherence in the initial phase. And the next for the implemented, it means that people who prescribe medication and they take some medication, but not completing dose of medication or miss medication. And the other term of non-medication adherence is persistent. People take some medication for a period of time, then they stop and no longer take medication for continuum. And here, 3 types of medication adherence and need to address to assess and monitoring and to improve the medication treatment outcome to meet the gold standard of blood pressure control. And next slide. Yeah, adherence is key to therapeutic success, and poor adherence to treatment for chronic disease is a worldwide problem and what highlight as a problem of striking magnitude. It means that the number of people who non-adherent to medication treatment very high in Asia country and other part of the world, including developing and non-developing country. And adherence is a particular concern in hypertension, with about half of the patient prescribed an antihypertensive drug stopping taking it within 1 year. They no longer take later. And through poor adherence is recognized as a major contributor of uncontrolled hypertension. The ability of patients to follow treatment is frequently compromised by more than one barrier. Intervention to promote adherence requires several components to target these barriers, and health professions must follow a systemic process to assess on the potential barrier. Next slide. And term that you have to assess the barrier and promoting patient adherence to medication taking, and at least 5 components association with adherent and non-adherent to medication. The first one you have to assess patient socio-demographic. In terms of the poor socio-demographic association with the poor adherence. The other term is related to healthcare team and healthcare system. For example, for nurse and patient communication, and the physician and patient interaction of the access to care. And other is the therapeutic related, such as the complex regimen, treatment change, and most of the people require 2 or more drug pills and make them more difficult to take or forget, or they are know what medication is for what treatment. The other is called the condition related to including multiple chronic condition, depression or psychosis, drug, alcohol abuse, dementia, major disability symptoms, severity, and quality of life. And the last factor that associate is the patient relief factor, including denied diagnosis, perception of illness, severity, and future impact, perception of treatment efficacy, fear dependent on adverse effect, and lack of knowledge and misunderstanding. And sometimes they forget, and limit follow-up and low self-efficacy and alternative therapy. And altogether, you can see this is very, very complex complaint that affect on patient adherent and non-adherent to medication and treatment protocols. Next slide, please. And here, the consequence of suboptimal adherence to antihypertensive medication, there are several negative outcomes related to non-adherence, including uncontrolled hypertension, progressive to hypertensive crisis, and vascular stiffness, left ventricular hypertrophy, microalbuminemia, and chronic kidney disease, and heart disease, stroke, and chronic heart failure, and cognitive dysfunction and dementia, excess emergency department and hospital admission, and reduced quality of life. And also medication adherence and non-adherence is related to increased death in people with hypertension. Next slide, please. Here is the recommendation how we can mobilize and increase the adherent term of people with hypertension. Just focus on the physician term, and example of intervention focus on provide information on the risk of hypertension and benefit of treatment, as well as agreement of treatment strategy to achieve and maintain BP control, using lifestyle measure and single pill-based treatment strategy when possible. And nurse will involve patient self-care and health promotion, including lifestyle modification and upstream medication adherence by communication, and gain their self-care experience, gain their knowledge, and make them take to find the helper for taking regularly medication, and follow up as well. And for the patient, nurse can be involved them by self-monitoring of blood pressure, and include motivational study of self-management with simple guide system. And also the patient have to engage to self-management and self-care of lifestyle modification. And all drug treatment, we need the simplification of the drug regimen using a pill combination, because the more pill is make difficulty to take in. And for health system, how we can include the accessibility of drug, which is referred to the cost and the health universal coverage of healthcare system to access, engage, and access to medication to use, and to reimbursement of single pill combination. It means that when we combine the two drug class into one pill, people can easily to take in that drug, for example. And you can create a several method to enhance medication adherence, as well as the other lifestyle modification, such as physical activity and dietary approach, as we present before. Next slide, please. And And last as topic I talk today is focused on similar health promotion in hypertension. Please next slide. And when you can look at the similar method and measurement or instrument to measure health promotion is can be concluded on the single or specific behavior like physical activity, diet or weight management, or medication adherence. Or the other form of measurement refer to the comprehensive behavior or combination of on health promotion or self-care and self-management behavior required for people with hypertension. Next slide. Here, methods of physical activity measurement, including caloric metric, survey for task-specific daily, recall questionnaire, quantitative history, and for observation, direct observation of physical activity. On the other hand, on the physiologic marker, including respiratory fitness, W label water, and for the mechanical and electronic monitor, including heart rate and pedometer and accelerometer. And right now they have very many of the gadgets to monitor mechanical and electric monitor, and we can perform individual heart rate and pedometer. The next slide. Yeah, you can see the more information from this paper I enter in this slide. Next. Yeah, and according to the other form, the self-reports physical activity questionnaire, you can search, maybe, I don't know if translate into the Indonesian right now or not, but many of instruments you can use to access patient reports of physical activity, such as Minnesota Leisure Time Physical Activity Questionnaire and Harvard's alumni or Paffenberger Physical Activity Survey, Stanford 7-day Physical Activity Recall, International Physical Activity Questionnaire, and Physical Activity Daily Logs Questionnaire Survey. And here is the self-report questionnaire you can use to interview the patient, or they can complete by themselves the questionnaires. Next. According to the dietary assessment as well, there are several methods to assess dietary, including dietary records and the 40-hour dietary recall. And you recall during the 20-hour period what you eat, drink, can you? And or you just take into a note. And food frequency questionnaire, a brief dietary assessment method, dietary history, and a brain measurement or combined instrument brain all of these together. Next, please. And you can see all of these instruments or methods also were long been used in the United States National Health Survey since 1971, and they still use right now. This is we can say that this is a standard method or questionnaire or measurement to assess the dietary health. Okay, next slide. And other questionnaire you can use, such as the blood food frequency questionnaire. They list a number of food and drink and type of diet, and ask how frequency they take or consume within a week. And other form questionnaire is dietary approach to stop hypertension questionnaire. It designed for specific to measure dietary in patient with hypertension, confront the diet guideline. And 14 item of Mediterranean diet assessment. A brief dietary assessment instrument you can use separately. 3 separate on a brief instrument assessment fruit and vegetable intake, or the brief instrument assess fat intake, or the multi-factor instrument also. Next slide, please. Here, the cell report that we assessment tool used in candidate research and scope review. I would like to show that right now there are several methods and questionnaire used internationally, and I am sure that this method also used in your country and also used in Thailand as well. Okay, next. Okay, this is the name. For example, the frequency, food questionnaire, the screener and food record, 24-hour recall, single question, or multiple tool also used in Canada. Okay, next slide. Okay, here is the name of the dietary tool, and you can use to interview or ask the patient to complete a cell report form of questionnaire. Just translate into your home country. Okay. Okay, you can see the detail of the food frequency. They can be asset, the energy that people take, the macro nutrients, including total fat, carbohydrate, protein, saturated fat, poly and non-saturated fat, fiber, cholesterol, and sugar. And the other component focus on the micronutrient, and vitamin D, calcium, vitamin C, vitamin A, and salt and sodium intake. And the last component focus on food or food group, such as fruit and vegetable, milk, meat, grain, and fish. And also you can use this is present in the food frequency questionnaire, record, or 24-hour recall. Okay, and it's maybe necessary to use. Next slide. For medication adherence assessment. Next, please. Okay. Methods of medication adherence measure, including invasive and non-invasive method. For the less accurate to the higher or most accurate method. For directly observed therapy, and this is the above line is the non-invasive method, including patient interview, patient diary, adherence questionnaire, pill count, prescription records review or electronic monitoring, and directly observed therapy. And for invasive method, including drug measurement in body fluids and biomarker measurement in body fluids. And in this method is more expensive, and we are not performed in the daily practice. They also recommend the non-invasive methods is more safe. Next, please. Yeah, it's the measure, and we can conclusion by this paper. You can find more information on this reference paper. Next, please. And I also recommendation, there are several medication adherence cell report questionnaire, name, medication adherence report scale, the brief about medicine questionnaire, more risky age, or the age item, or the 4 item on more risky scale, and medication research ratio, proportion of days covers, and medication research ratio. And the other one I recommend is the Hubbard scale. And here among the valid and reliable measurement tool to assess patient adherence to medication treatment in hypertension, as well as other chronic disease. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, the other comprehensive behavior I would like to show you. Next slide. Next, please. Yeah, there are several measures to measure overall health promotion and self-care or self-management behavior in general population, like the stepwise approach to non-communication risk factor instrument. This launched by the World Health Organization, you can use in various population such as younger adult, and older adult in general health promotion items. And the other two focus specific on the hypertension person, named the hypertension self-care profile, and the other is the self-care of hypertension inventory. Okay, next, please. Yeah, I would like to share my experience. Here my research right now, we use the self-care of hypertension inventory or SCHI to measure self-care maintenance. It means that the long-term or adherent to health behavior, and self-monitoring refer to the occurring of symptoms, and they have to monitor their symptom or change in health and illness. And the other component focus on self-care management. And when their symptom occur, they will have to manage symptom. Next slide. Yeah, this instrument developed based on the theoretical basis on the self-care of chronic illness people, consists of three components or three terms, including self-care maintenance, self-care monitoring, and self-care management. And there are several factors related to these self-care function. And next, please. And if you're interested, you can connect to this website and ask for permission from Barbara Rigel, and they can provide a lot of self-care or self-management instrument, and you have to translate in your own language. Okay, next, please. Here, self-care of hypertension inventory translate into Thai by our research team, and other three countries right now for version 3. Next, please. And we can here if we use the international method to translation and cross adaptation of the self-care of hypertension inventory into Thai and measure in patient with hypertension. Next, please. And we can use several methods, and we can confirm that these translation and cross-cultural adaptation measurement valid and reliable across cultures, such as in Thailand, and we use to measure self-care maintenance. The item including physical activity, diet, weight control, medication adherence, and smoking habit, and also include the symptom management when they can control hypertension or the occurring of other symptom-related hypertension. Next, please. Also, we can verify for the structure and construct validity in terms of whether the cross-cultural scale can be measured in the different countries like Thailand. Okay, next, please. Just in conclusion, that we can confirm that this also the self-care of hypertension inventory developed in the United States, and when we translate and conduct a cross-cultural adaptation, it is benefit, and we can demonstrate that this instrument is valid and reliable and already prepared for use in across culture. If you interested in this instrument, you can translate into your country. Go to the conclusion, please. Okay, next, please. Next, please, for the last slide. So I would like to conclude that on of the single or specific behavior or combination and comprehensive health promotion or self-care behavior improve hypertension outcome. Next, please. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Professor Dr. James Wano, for the material. Professor Jom previously explained about physical activity, diet, measurement hypertension, medications, risk of hypertension, and explained it to what treatment hypertension that can reduce high pressure blood, approach, a diet dash, and also self-care. Okay, now let's go straight to the questions and answer sessions. Okay, now we have a couple of questions here. For all attendants who ask, could you open your mic? For questions number 1, for Nurse Santi Herlina, is Diva Saka Adita from UPN Veteran Jakarta here? Diva Saka Adita, are you here? Okay, if you can talk through the mic, I will read it for you. This is questions from Nurse Santi Herlina. Questions is, how do nurses deal with someone who has been diagnosed with hypertension but does not want to seek treatment and take medication regularly?
Okay, thank you for moderator. Okay, Diva, how do you deal with someone who has been diagnosed with hypertension but does not want to seek treatment and take medication regularly? Okay, hypertension is a silent killer, and indeed in some cases patients do not want to take medicine because they feel they are healthy or are tired of taking medicine continuously. Therefore, we need to first examine the patient's understanding of the disease. So we need to educate the patient with what the consequence will be if the patient doesn't comply with what complication will be experienced. Nurses have a role in promotive, preventive, and curative. One of the promotive role is to educate, starting from understanding disease and how to treat it. Handling hypertension is not only about adherence to medication, but also must be accompanied by compliance with a healthy living, with a healthy diet, exercise, quit smoking, and stop drinking alcohol. And of course, the family is the most important support system to help monitor and assist patient care. Demikian, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nurse Santi Herlina. It's already answered. For Diva, is anything else do you want to ask? I think that's enough. Okay, for questions number 2, for Professor James Wano from Siti Nurhaliza. Are you here? Okay, I will read it for you. Siti Nurhaliza from UPN Veteran Jakarta. The questions for Professor Jom. Is there any hypertension management that can be carried out in groups? And if there any, can it be effective in its implementations, Professor?
Okay, yes, I said yes. You can perform individual self-management or by group, also a small or a large group. For example, when you push education class and you can perform patient information about self-care on health promotion regimen for hypertension. It is the first time you can provide the information in a small or a large group, and it is effective to provide information in terms of education for a specific group. And also, however, they can be gain their knowledge and health perception on hypertension, but the outcome are not a guarantee in the long term. It's only proof that the education, group education, group management effective. And also you need to focus on individual preference as well. Many of the studies show that group interaction can be promote patient motivation. And when you have friends and you ask friends to go to physical activity or gym, and it also the support from other is more effective. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor Jom. I think it's the incredible answers. So we move next to the third questions from Clarissa Giana from UPN Veteran Jakarta for Narasanti Herlina. I want to ask, I've read an article, does obesity in hypertensive patients determine the severity of hypertension? If yes, how did it happen, Miss?
Okay, thank you. Obesity is measured by body mass index. Yeah, body mass index is closely related to body fat, thus increasing vascular resistance. And the other, besides obesity, also causes an increase in the renin-angiotensin system and aldosterone. We know that angiotensin is a strong vasoconstrictor to increase blood pressure. And aldosterone can retain sodium and water, which will result in increase in blood volume. And all of that will cause an increase in blood pressure. So if the obesity level is higher, then the risk of fat accumulation and an increase in the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system occurs. From the result of research in Indonesia from Vivian Research on the relationship between obesity and hypertension classification at the Tapa Health Center, Tapa District Bone, Bolango, Indonesia, there is no relationship between obesity and hypertension classification, but there is a relationship between obesity and the incidence of hypertension. That's answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss. Next, we move to questions number 4 for Professor Jom. I think this one is similar questions, Prof. This is from Unique Christian from UPN Veteran Jakarta. In obese patients with hypertension, is it still effective to do physical activity without losing weight for cardioprotection effort, Prof?
Sure, Christina. And anyway that you can reduce blood pressure, you can reduce the cardiovascular risk and the cardiovascular disease in the future. And I found one systematic review and meta-analysis paper focused on blood pressure in young adults, and they show that even they increase physical activity, the body weight doesn't reduce. However, physical activity can be reduce blood pressure and reduce lipid profile. And I would like to let you think about people with hypertension. They have a number of risk factors of hypertension, such as lipid, hyperlipid or dyslipidemia, hyperglycemia, and obesity, as well as abdominal obesity. And these are the predisposing risk of hypertension. And when people incident of hypertension or they had hypertension, these factors still remain. I think you can see it on people, and we can see that this is a very complex or multiple and complex risk factor of hypertension. And this factor we call cardiovascular risk factor. When we approach patient with hypertension, we don't look at a single risk factor. We look at the overall risk factor, and there are several risk factor instruments to estimate risk of people with hypertension to develop cardiovascular disease, stroke, or chronic kidney disease in the future. One of the most instrument or method we use here is the Framingham Heart Study Project, and risk factor including high blood pressure, hyperglycemia, high density lipoprotein, and cholesterol, and as well as smoking and age of the person. When you look, you taking care for patient with hypertension, you have to assess the overall risk for cardiovascular disease. And yes, I will confirm that you can lowering your blood pressure and lowering the risk of cardiovascular disease by lowering the other risk factor, including body weight as well.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Next questions is questions number 5 for Nurse Santi from Briandini, UPN Veteran Jakarta. As you have explained, why is the prevalence of hypertension increase every year? Is there any other way to reduce the prevalence of hypertension so that it decreases, Miss?
Okay, thank you for Briandini from the question. Change in lifestyle are very high. For example, types of food relate to junk food, foods high in salt content. Okay, we call it micin. People are lazy to do exercise because there are busy. All activities can be done just by sitting. For example, if you order food, it's enough with the application on your phone. So they are less moving, which makes the risk of hypertension increases. The way to reduce it's to adherence to a healthy lifestyle, and it's not easy. So it takes discipline from everyone. And the government also has responsibilities in policies such as reducing the circulation of cigarettes or controlling alcohol and requiring every citizens to regularly exercise, as well as controlling the content of food in circulation So it is necessary for the role of various prevention to equally reduce the incidence of hypertension. That's answer.
May I add to Professor Halina that
Okay,
yes, I agree
please.
with you, and this is on a very excellent question from the points of view. I would like to add that this is a global problem globally because there are several factors, including individual factor and environment factor, as well lifestyle factor, and we think about how to prevent hypertension. I think we can, but you think in the other way that hypertension is related to the advanced age. When people get older, the incidence and prevalence of hypertension is increasing by age themselves because of the stiffness of vascular, like Dr. Professor Hertina addressed before. And this is a very challenge issue globally to us as well as we are a nurse and we confront the health promotion and health protection of people across group and across population. Other issue that we see here is about the hypertension and cardiovascular disease in women. Right now, heart disease is not a male predominant disease, not now, because a number of female and women with hypertension and cardiovascular disease is increased worldwide, especially in the developing country like our country, and I'm sure that your country as well. Here is a very challenge to us as a nurse. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Yom.
Thank you, Nurse Santi and Prof. Jom for the additional.
Okay, I go to Afima question. The third question I can read here. Okay, right. You said that it is difficulty but challenge for nurse and on healthcare profession to find out what effective method to prevent and control hypertension in the long run, and think about hypertension compared to other cardiovascular disease such as myocardial infarction or heart failure. These two cardiovascular have specific symptoms, and people maybe perception heart failure and myocardial infarction as a serious illness because they have a symptom and impact their daily lives and death. But in contrast of hypertension, they have no symptom. You know you have hypertension just you measure your blood pressure. So a number of people did not aware of their condition when they engaging in health behavior, lifestyle change, or lifestyle promotion or self-care. There is no longer in terms of to maintain their daily lifestyle. It is difficult to as well. However, today I think there has no single method to handle the non-adherent to medication as well as other lifestyle modification in people hypertension. And still it's a very challenge to us.
Okay, thank you very much for Professor Jom. Okay, there seems to be no more questions. Does anyone want to share and experience with hypertension or want to ask more questions to Professor Jom or Nurse Santi Herlina? Okay, Prof. and Nur Santi, I think there's no more questions and means we have to end our discussions here. Today we learned so many material from the silent killer of hypertension. The conclusions of material today is we have to always maintaining a healthy lifestyle, which is to diet, stay away from risk factors for hypertension, such as cigarettes, alcohol, and trigger foods. Always do medication regularly and do workout minimal 1 time in 1 week. Okay, I think that we have two speakers here are really amazing. I'm very happy and proud to be on this opportunity, accompanying the presentations of an extraordinary presenter. Thank you for Nurse Santi Herlina and Professor Dr. Jom Suwano for joining with us. It's really a great honor for me. And for all the audience, thank you very much for being wonderful participants during the sessions. Hopefully, I will see you again really soon. Returning to MC, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Jom.
Thank you. Swati from Thailand. Good to
Speaker.
see you all here someday. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, all of participants.
So I would like to say that this is a very excellent organization, and just say to sorry for inconvenience here. I tried several times to connect to Zoom, but very appreciate for student forum here, and wish to see you all in the next future. Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
Dr.
inviting
Jom.
me. Thank you.
Thank you, all of commit. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Ibu. And thank you to our presenter today, Professor Dr. Jom and Nurse Santi Herlina. I would also like to thank Ms. Kiana for being a great moderator today. Thank you for your hard work. Now, since all the presentation has finished, it's time to wrap up.
We have went through all the events and we finally come to an end, which is closing and filling in the post-test. Before the end of this event, once again, I would like to remind to all participants to fill in the evaluation link and the post-test which displayed on the screen, or you can just click the link on the Zoom chat.
Reminders for everyone. After this, we will announce the winners from Ranalhecom 2022 competitions. Therefore, we expect everyone to sit tight and stay in this Zoom room until the winners' announcements are finished.
We, as the MCs of Ranalhecom 2022 International Webinar, would like to announce our farewell. From the deepest of our heart, we do apologize if there were any mistakes.
Thank you very much for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay safe, stay healthy, and
Salam bela negara. For the next event, which is competition announcement, will be taken over by Fatma Fadilah. To Fatma Fadilah, you are welcome.
Thank you to Kak Zenita and Kak Alfida as Master of Ceremonies for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Bela Negara. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the event for announcement the winner of Ranalhecom 2022 competition. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Fatma Fadila Roza, as the Master of Ceremony who will announce the winner of Ranalhecom 2022 competition. The Honorable, we would like to inform you that this event is organized by HMPSIK UPN Veteran Jakarta, namely the National Health Competition, which consists of debate, essay, public poster, and educational video with the theme Measurement of Blood Pressure, Managing Hypertension and Threat of Complication. The Honorable, before entering the main event, first, we would like to know the impression and messages from the participant while participating in this Ranalhecom competition. May I ask participant to open the web, namely mentimeter.com. We would like to invite for all participants to be able to open the web. Once again, for all participants to be able to open the web, namely mentimeter.com. Okay. Okay, if all the participants have opened the site, please type in your message impression there. Don't worry, it's anonymous. So the impression from participants, someone said it was so wonderful, amazing, inspiring. Thank you for the advice. And hopefully things will be better in the future for all of us. All right, how are the contestant feelings right now? I think you couldn't wait to find out who are the winners of the Ranalhecom 2022 competition are. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a video announcement of the winner of Ranalhecom competition. So, the winner is... Congratulations to all the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight to the first competition branch, namely debate competition. For the third place, the winner is Fada Aditya Kausar Murti and team from Universitas Indonesia. Congratulations to Fada and team. Second place, the winner is Jihan Firdausya and team from UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. Congratulations to Jihan and team. And the first place, the winner is Zihan Nurrahmawati and team from UPN Veteran Jakarta. Congratulations to Zihan and team. And reminder for all the winners of the debate competition to confirm to the contact person for the debate competition. Next, I would like to announce the winner of the second competition branch, namely essay. For the third place winner is Hasto Yuwono from Politeknik Kesehatan Semarang by title Program Kamantisi Kampung Aman Anti Hipertensi Berbasis Germas, Gerakan Masyarakat Sehat beserta Hipnoterapi. Congratulations to Hasto Yuwono. Second place, the winner is Widya Maharani from UIN Alauddin Makassar by title Solusi Pengendalian Emosi untuk Menekan Hipertensi. Congratulations to Widya Maharani. And the first place, the winner is Reska Bahlail from Universitas Pajajaran by title Kedai Rumah Tensi, Pelayanan Kesehatan Berbasis Wirausaha dalam Upaya Optimalisasi Deteksi Dini dan Pemantauan Risiko Hipertensi di Indonesia. Congratulations to Reska Bahlail. And reminder for all the winners of the essay competition to confirm to the contact person for the essay competition. Next, I would like to announce the winner of the third competition branch, namely educational videos. For the third place, the winner is Rizky Pramitas Meswari Putri and team from UPN Veteran Jakarta by title Manajemen Hipertensi dengan 5 komponen pikir. Congratulations to Rizky Pramitas Meswari Putri and team. Second place, the winner is Nadia Syahida and team from UPN Veteran Jakarta by title Manajemen Kepatuhan Pengobatan Hipertensi melalui Perangkat Digital dan Efikasi Diri. Congratulations to Nadia Syahida and team. And the first place, the winner is Muhammad Dafa Abista Rafiansyah and team from UIN Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang by title Kendalikan Hipertensi dengan Patuh. Congratulations to Muhammad Dafa Abista Rafiansyah and team. And reminder for all the winners of educational videos to confirm to the contact person for the educational videos. Next, I would like to announce the winner of the fourth competition branch, namely public poster. For the third place, the winner is Karina Wulanmei and team from Universitas Brawijaya bertitle Ayo Ketahui Faktor Risikonya, Atasi Hipertensi dengan Sikap Patuh. Congratulations to Karina Wulanmei and team. Second place, the winner is Sulistiawati and team from Universitas Brawijaya by title Lakukan Manajemen Diri Hipertensi dengan Tetap Waspada. Congratulations to Sulistiawati and team. And the first place, the winner is Nicholas Yakub and team from Universitas Erlangga by title Punya Hipertensi, Jangan Khawatir, Yuk Rajin Kontrol. Congratulations to Nicholas Yakub and team. Last, surprisingly, there is a favorite winner for the public poster. The winner is Fidelia and team from Universitas Brawijaya by title Hipertensi Bikin Sensi Hadapi Dengan Dahsyat. Congratulations to Fidelia and team. And reminder for all the winners of the public poster to confirm to the contact person for the public poster competition. Once again, I would like to congratulate all the winners of the National Ranalhecom 2022 competition. Ladies and gentlemen, before the event actually ends, we as the committee want to show a special video from Ranalhecom 2022, so we hope that the participant could watch the video first. Enjoy watching. The Honorable, our event has come to end today. As the Master of Ceremonies for the competition and on behalf of the committee in charge, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for the participation of the participants in the Ranalhecom 2022 competition. In the end, let me say thank you. That's all from me. See you at Ranalhecom 2023.
When your heart beats, it pumps blood round your body. As the blood moves, it pushes against the sides of the blood vessels. The strength of this pushing is your blood pressure. As your heart pumps, the flow of blood in your arteries and your blood pressure rises and falls in a regular wave pattern. Blood pressure is shown as two numbers. The top number, or systolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart beats. The bottom number, or diastolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart relaxes.
Her head's not empty, there's so much air left inside, she's so dizzy. Is it possible, are we? Her friends told her to stop, 'cause he already got someone to love. What can I do, how can I stop? One night she felt a very happy girl alive. They shared stories, they shared love. She wished she could freeze the time that night. Expectations high up in the sky, she knew something will bring her down. She's disappointed but not surprised. She used to it, she used to this. Every time she falls in love, she gets this shit. She told the moon she don't wanna fall in love anymore. 'Cause if his heart breaks, who will fix it? One night she felt a very happy girl alive. They shared stories, they shared love. She wished she could freeze the time that night. Expectations high up in the sky, she knew something will bring her down. She is disappointed but not surprised. Let me tell you a story about a girl living in worry, but she sometimes feels lonely. But you don't know what it's like to be hurt, to fall in love.
Guys, tolong on cam guys.
A vow for better or for worse. I can't believe you let me down, but the proof's in the way it hurts. For months on end I've had my doubts, denying every tear. I wish this would be over now, but I know that I still need you here. You say I'm crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. When you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. You've been so unfadable.
Konfirm ya, yuk. Bonita kurang atas, Bonita. Stay ya. 1, 2, 3. Tahan. 1, 2, 3. Dah, lanjut. Lagi ganti gaya. 1, 2, 3. Kasihan itu MC-nya gak ada, hilang 1. Lagi. Bentar dulu. Slide 2. Slide 2. 1, 2, 3. Slide 2 ganti gaya. 1. Nih, yang di slide 2. Mesti ganti gaya, Mesti. Tulis, ganti gaya. Ada di aku. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Slide 3 gak ada lagi udah. Astagfirullah, iya bener. Masih di record.